Good afternoon, everyone. This is Carrie Sparks with Pioneer Title, your Arizona title gal. I can be reached at 602-715-5704. I've got some cool stuff still going on this week. We have Tina Tambor with the Cromford Report. That's tomorrow on a Zoom call. If you'd like the registration link to be a part of that presentation tomorrow afternoon from 1:30 until roughly about 3 o'clock on Zoom, I'm happy to give that to you. Just either DM me or shoot me an email, and I'm happy to get that over to you. Every Tuesday, I talk with Brian Reeve from Barrett Financial. We do a bit called Ask the Underwriter, and today's topic I am very interested in. But before we get started, Brian, can you introduce yourself and give your licensing information?
Sure. Thanks, Carrie. It's Brian Reeve with Barrett Financial, NMLS number 694300. Phone number is 602-741-4801.
So one of the topics that you and I started talking about roughly, I'd say about a year ago, was cryptocurrency. So Bitcoin, all that type of cryptocurrency, and how it was possibly going to be an alternative inside of the funding world in mortgage and purchasing real estate. I'd heard stories that there were parts of the country that were really getting involved in this. We did some research on it. I shot you an email, and the information that you came back on as it regards in regards to cryptocurrency was amazing. As a lot of people know, I also, when I'm not selling title insurance, am involved in teaching people about the crime of human trafficking. And I know how crime can creep into cryptocurrency, but I want you just to kind of go into it. And so kind of explain where you think that it is right now and where you see it's going to go possibly in the future.
Well, I think one of the things that attracts everybody to cryptocurrency is for the simple fact that there's no regulations around it. And that's what makes it so appealing and so attractive. With cryptocurrency, though, unfortunately, when we are transferring money or we're using money to buy assets and homes and things along those lines here in the States, or any kind of banking, we're required to basically look at all of the assets from a regulatory standpoint. So there's many people in a transaction or with a customer that basically focus on people's finances to regulate them. Money that you have in your checking or savings accounts. There are certain behaviors and activities in a savings or a checking account that is required to fill out what we call as SARs, suspicious activity reports. And the same thing flows over into the lending side of it too. When we see people trying to structure money, or we see things where down payment or things along those lines, we have to also be in charge of, filing these reports. So it's come to that time of year where everybody's trying to scramble into doing their compliance testing and their compliance. And I think you're going to hear less of this, and you're going to hear more lenders push back at, no, you can't do this. No, don't think about it, because that's kind of one of the hot things that everybody's trying to push right now is cryptocurrency with anti-money laundering compliance right now. So right now, we cannot allow, or we can't have a way that somebody can basically use funds from cryptocurrency for transactions, down payments, money deposited into accounts. Those are all things that we watch and we can't really use as viable funds. And because largely in part is because there's no regulation of the money. So one of the things is a lot of people say, well, I did this, or I sold this, or I traded this, or I traded that, or I bought something on the web and this is where I got the funds from. Even a regular real estate transaction, even if you had $5,000 at home, or you had $10,000 at home and you said, well, I sold a car. Well, where's your DMV bill of sale? Where's your, where's the copy of the check? Where did you verify you got the funds from? So even in those situations, we want to validate where that money's coming from. When you see bank statements and you want to validate large deposits, where that's coming from. With cryptocurrency, you literally can't do that. So there's also ways through the dark web, on what they call hoppers, that they can actually transfer money in Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, or I don't want to call it a particular cryptocurrency, but there's ways that money can be moved and exchanged through the dark web. So there's a lot of things that, because of how that money operates, we're just not to that point where we can use cryptocurrency unless there's some kind of regulation around it. So I know that there's been a large push from investors and people in cryptocurrency that like the benefit of it and are pushing to be able to allow these types of things to happen, or use these types of currency and transactions. But the problem is they're contradictory. Money you can only use that's been regulated, and we're trying to use money that's unregulated.
Do you think we'll ever get to the point where it is something that can be used in the everyday real estate transaction? Because the background of it is that, yes, real estate transactions have occurred with cryptocurrency involved. Yes, title companies have closed on them. It has happened, but it has, the research I've done with you and with a couple of my realtors, I see a huge pullback from that place going forward. I don't know if that will be something that we will at some point entertain again. And really, it's going to depend on, from what I understand, please correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, title has to verify funds. If we can't verify funds, we can't do something for the transaction. Same thing goes with you, and it's a chain reaction, from what I understand.
I think it's human nature for everybody to want to hear the answer that they want to hear. And it's human nature for people to make mistakes. And because somebody made a mistake, that's not necessarily the answer that you're going to take as gospel and run with it. To say that people don't make mistakes and things have never happened is, it's a falsehood. I'm not going to say that. But it doesn't make it right? No. Have I heard of a transaction that's happened closing with cryptocurrency? Yes. But that was not the right transaction. That was not supposed to happen. And I don't know the backstory of what happened after that, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't pretty. I mean, it's like with anything. I mean, you can do something and get something by, and somebody through training or experience or not paying attention to the basic standards and rules and regulations of any money laundering may violate that. But if you violate that, it doesn't mean that it's right. It's something that we hear in lending all the time. And this is something, speaking from a loan officer, that is kind of funny, because on the other side, as an underwriter, I used to get annoyed by this. And not all underwriters are perfect. Not all underwriters do things that they get so busy. There's some things that get by underwriters. Let's be real. That's why they have QC departments. And you'll see loan officers sometimes that'll get a loan approved, and it's because that underwriter missed it, and now all of a sudden it becomes gospel. And that's their argument with the new underwriters. Like, well, so-and-so approved my loan, or so-and-so did this, or I did this before, or this happened before. So I think people want to hear what they want to hear to basically spread that information as it can be done. Well, mistakes can be done.
I know you have so much information. You've shared it with me. That if a realtor or somebody out there has questions about it, I know that you are a huge resource on this topic, and I am so glad that you finally agreed to talk to it a little bit. So do you want to get the licensing information and how to get a hold of you one more time?
It's Brian Reeve with Barrett Financial, and MLS is 694300, and I can be reached at 602-741-4801.
And again, for everyone watching, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us. I'm Carrie Sparks, your Arizona Title Gal, and I can reach at 602-715-5704. I have just had a blast this summer working and helping my realtors, loan officers, and as well as real estate attorneys and developers create more business. And we're getting ready to really launch into 2021 for so many reasons. So give me a call, put me to work if you don't have a current relationship with anyone at Pioneer Title. I'd love to be that one-stop shop for all your title and escrow needs. So Brian, have a great day. Everyone watching, have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you for all you do.
Thanks. And we'll be back doing more next week with Brian. So give him a call. Thanks so much. Bye.